Welcome to Korcula Island, Croatia. My name is Eric Kinnan, and today I'm going to share with you my best list of fun things to do and delicious foods to eat while you're here. In this episode, we'll explore Korcula's Old Town. We'll climb a 63-meter tall bell tower to get an incredible view out over the historic quarter. We'll eat a fantastic local pasta that is served at all of Korcula's restaurants. We'll hike through an olive orchard to the island's best beach. We'll have grilled seafood next to the ocean. And finally, we'll try some of Korcula's most famous cookies to see if they live up to the hype. Come with me and enjoy all of these incredible Korcula Island experiences on this episode of Best List Travel. Korcula Island is located off the coast of Croatia on the Adriatic Sea. Its most impressive feature is Korcula Town, a walled medieval city once known for its defensive importance to the Venetian Navy, but today is known for the beauty of its well-preserved medieval Gothic architecture. I'm going to load my car onto the ferry so I can head over to explore the island. As you can see on this map, Croatia has dozens of ferry routes. I'll be heading today from Orebić to Korcula. After you park your car, most people head upstairs to get some fresh air and take in the scenery. This is only a 15-minute long ferry ride, so Korcula's Old Town comes into view quite quickly. There are 8 fortress towers still remaining in Korcula today. This old town represents a fine example of medieval European war architecture and makes Korcula one of Croatia's best preserved medieval towns. I think it's really interesting that it was forbidden to build outside the city walls until the 18th century. Here we can see some of the first illustrations of Korcula town, drawn in the late 15th century, at a time when Venice ruled the island. In fact, the Venetians ruled the island for 370 years, from the early 15th to the late 18th century. We'll be seeing examples of Venice's influence later on in this episode. If you enter by land, you'll enter through the southern gate, guarded by the big tower Revelin. Constructed from local stone in the 14th century, the tower was recently renovated to its former glory in 2003. The lion relief sculpture on the front facade is a reminder of the town's Venetian rulers. The first plaza I walked into felt incredibly empty. It feels like a ghost town in historic Korcula, but then I realized it's 4 p.m., so everyone's at the beach, and I've got the historic center all to myself. As you can see, the streets look pretty vacant today. I did see some art galleries with local painters' work on display. The Old Town Center is dominated by the splendid St. Mark's Cathedral, built in the Gothic Renaissance style. It took an entire century to complete this church, and several generations of local stonemasons and stone carvers cooperated on the project. I peeked inside the cathedral, but didn't spend much time inside. I'm honestly more interested in something that is partway up the bell tower. If you look closely here, you'll see a small swiveling metal ball, painted gold and black, that turns every day, indicating the phases of the moon. I filmed this segment on August 9th, 2020, and look, according to the online moon calendars, the golden black ball on the side of the cathedral is exactly correct. Every day that I came back to check on it, the ball had spun a little bit further to show the waning moon. I think that's really cool. In the 15th century, as this church was being built, Korcula's most important and flourishing art form was stone carving. Artists came from Dubrovnik, Venice, and even Milan to help with these elaborate stone carvings. It's really fascinating here on Korcula Island. Every time you look up at these balconies and stone carvings, you see some really wild animal faces and demon faces staring down at you. And some of them are kind of creepy. Now for the next thing you have to do while in Korcula, climb the bell tower of St. Mark's Cathedral. Let's start our ascent of the bell tower. Here we go. Here's the entrance to the world's tightest, windiest staircase. If you're in any way claustrophobic, I definitely recommend that you don't try to go up these stairs. I'm glad I'm not a very big guy. I don't think a lot of people would fit in here. For the second part, we've got more space, and there's lots of natural light coming through. Part way up, you'll start to get a preview of the incredible view that is waiting for you at the top. If you're afraid of heights, I don't recommend that you take part in this activity. Trying to pass people who are coming down as you are going up is quite nerve-wracking. They could easily knock you over the railing. These bells were purchased in Venice during the 16th century, and they all ring in the key of A major. So I'm standing right underneath the church bells, and I really hope they don't ring them while I'm standing here. Up here I've got a world-class view of myself in the selfie screen, apparently. But no, seriously, I can see Korcula town's little sandy beach. And I can also see one of the 8 remaining defense towers. But enough of this spectacular view. Let's head down because I'm getting hungry and it's time for lunch. Honestly, going down these steep steps is 10 times scarier than going up them. On my way down to lunch, I came across the former entrance of a Venetian-style palace. You can still see the stone carvings that were shaped 500 years ago. Hey guys, right behind me I found a little fixer-upper. It's kind of in bad shape right now, but I think with a little love and care, we could fix it up and live here. What do you guys think? I love exploring Korcula's Old Town because there's so many historic streets. Some of them have nestled amongst the stairs, little cafes or places to stop and have a drink. As I walked down one of the streets towards the water, I stumbled across the supposed birthplace of explorer Marco Polo. Many dispute the claim that Marco Polo was born in Korcula, but there are also many people who believe that he was in fact born here. His house was under renovation, so I decided not to enter. But it was still nice to look at it from the outside. Considering that Marco Polo was born in the 13th century, that would make his house really, really old. This street with the trees has an interesting name that I want to mention. It's known to the locals as the Street of the Thoughts. Can you guess why it's called Street of the Thoughts? Every other street in the old town of Korcula is lined with quite irregular stairs. So that makes this the only flat street that you can walk down and have thoughts about other things besides navigating the stairs and trying not to fall. I saw a restaurant called Konaba Zorzi and decided to have lunch there. Turns out Zorzi was a Venetian duke who lived in Korcula in the 13th century. Here we can see a carved depiction of his coat of arms on the building that is next to Konaba Zorzi. Zorzi lived about the same time the Statute of Korcula was drafted in 1214. This legal code was created by the local Croat nobles before Korcula was dominated by the Venetians. It served as the local people's very own Bill of Rights, but also laid out the island's rules and regulations on property, taxes, agriculture, and the trade of olive oil and wine. Anyways, back to my lunch. Let's try the homemade macaroni. I'm going to have it with prawns, tomato sauce, onions, and basil. You see, making macaroni at home is a Korcula tradition, an activity the whole family can participate in while they chat. You need to mix the dough to the right consistency, cut the small pieces of dough, and then roll each one on a wooden stick to make a macaroon. This type of pasta is so loved and celebrated by locals that it even has its own festival every August. And although I missed the official festival, luckily here in Korcula town you can order amazing homemade macaroni 365 days a year. A little bit more Parmigiano. When in Rome, do as the locals do, and when in Korcula, eat macaroni, apparently. So, Marco Polo is supposedly from Korcula, and when he went on his journey through China, he discovered a very wonderful food that most of us love called pasta. And he brought that recipe back to his hometown, supposedly, of Korcula, and it's been a tradition ever since. Some would say that since then, Korcula has been obsessed with macaroni. And as you look around at all the restaurants on this drag, you'll see that every single restaurant has their own take. It smells so good. Here we go. I love my macaroni. Thank you, Marco Polo. I'm so glad you walked to China. I bet people loved Marco Polo when he came back with this. No wonder he's famous. Not only is this promenade a great place to hang out with friends and watch the boats go by, it's also a great place to go swimming. Stairs lead down to the water, and there are all sorts of access points and places to jump in. What a wonderful way to experience the Adriatic. Swimming here, right off the promenade of Korcula's old town. Now let's head southwest, from one side of Korcula Island to the other, in order to visit the island's most beautiful beach. Luckily, it's only a 19-minute drive away. Getting some stunning views out over the water as we drive down to the beach. I rolled up and found a parking spot pretty easily, thanks to this big parking lot that cost about $5 for the entire day. I just arrived at the parking area of Pupnatska Pupnatska Beach. Oh god, this is hard to pronounce. Someone just told me how to pronounce it and I already messed it up. Let's get going down to the beach because the water is calling my name. So there's a little trail heading down to the beach. Pretty easy to pick up from the parking lot. Let me show it to you. So this is such a Mediterranean scene. It's like everything I dreamed about when I thought I was going to come to visit Croatia. I'm walking through olive tree orchards and a little red path down to an incredibly blue cove with white rocks. So just walking up to the beach now and I can see why people love it. The water looks amazing. There's people paddleboarding. I really wish I had one of those right now. Pupnatska Luka is the kind of beach that I could come back to every day for the rest of my life and never get bored. Here in this protected bay, the water is smooth, glassy, and relaxing. Just perfect for paddleboarding and swimming. Everyone on the beach is smiling, playing, and having a great time. Seriously, everyone is grinning from ear to ear. The water is so clear that you can see fish darting around. And if you have goggles, the visibility is incredible, like looking through glass. I'm here in early August, perhaps the best month for swimming in the Adriatic because the water is a fantastic temperature, about 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 26.6 degrees Celsius. Refreshing enough to cool you down on a hot day, but not cold either. If you were to visit in May or June though, of course the scenery would still be gorgeous, but the water wouldn't have warmed up enough for most people to swim comfortably. But hey, if you're from Nova Scotia or Norway, jump on in. This is my new happy place. This is why people fly here from around the world, because the water is just perfect this time of year. You know, normally when you're sitting in your office at the cubicle, wishing you were somewhere else, this is that place that you wish you were at. It's so beautiful here. You might want to wear some rock shoes when you come here because under the water, not only are there rocks, but there's sea urchins. So be careful where you step. So now that I've been chilling at the beach for a while, I'm hungry. Let's go up to Korcula Mijo. It's right here on the beach and it has a great view, so I don't really have to go too far. Look, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this video of Eric walking out of the water reminds me of an advertisement I've seen before. A cologne ad of a super muscular supermodel getting out of the ocean. People on the beach always do a double take when I get out of the water because of the striking similarity to the Davidoff cool water marketing. Let's walk up to Korcula Mijo. It's just a few steps off the beach. If you only want a drink, the owner also owns a bar right across from the restaurant that has an even better view of the water. Alright, here we have our first course. So here at Konobo Mio, we're going to start off with a plate of sheep's cheese. And what I really love about it is here on top, they've placed a pickled seagrass that grows right on the beach. And it's called here mozzarella. They cook it first, and then they pickle it for several weeks before they put it on top of this sheep's cheese plate. So let's check that out. Sweet and salty, all at the same time. I was expecting salty, but I was not expecting sweet. Drenched in olive oil, salty, fantastic. Next, I'm going to have the fresh fish of the day, grilled sea bass, seared over the smoldering charcoal. A sprig of rosemary, a squeeze of lemon, that's going to finish this off perfectly. Locally caught, locally grilled, locally squeezed. Watch out now. Cover your eyes. I'm a sucker for rosemary. Always have been, always will be. Look what I'm going to do. Is this effective? Absolutely. I'm sure some of you are scoffing at me, and some of you are saying, man, that guy really knows what he's doing. Even if you think this is stupid, the fish loves it. The chef did this just right. The fish is perfectly cooked. There's nothing quite like a fresh catch from the Adriatic as you're sitting looking out on the very body of water. This fish was swimming in a few hours ago. What a wonderful day at the beach. I'm sad to leave, but I know I'll be back. Now let's head back to Korcula town to try some of the island's traditional cookies. Let's check out Sukarin. It's a bakery that's super famous here on Korcula Island. It's called Sukarin, named after one of the traditional pastries of this city. You can see it hanging there right in the window. That pastry is a 150-year-old traditional recipe from this area, and it's only made here on Korcula Island. It was started 26 years ago. It has been reviewed by Michelin and by Bon Appetit. So let's go inside and see if it lives up to the hype and expectations. Inside is a small and tidy bakery run by a woman named Smiljana. Over the years, her name has become synonymous with delicious baked goods, and all of the local islanders want her to bring some of her treats to their next birthday party. Smiljana comes from a family of bakers. On the wall, she has photos of the people who have taught her everything she knows, like this photo of her grandmother working a mixer. I'm most excited about this little carrot cake muffin covered in orange marmalade, and the amaretta, which is made of ground almonds with little hints of aromatic lemon peel. The klasoon has a thin shell of crispy dough, but is full of a rich and creamy walnut filling imbued with the fragrant essence of homemade rose brandy. As Smiljana happily loaded up my treats to go, I asked her about some of the awards she had on the wall. Wow, it's heavy.
Yes, it's good.
She has the golden arms. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And she has the golden sun too. She gets here every morning at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Very early.
Yes.
And then you go to sleep at 4 p.m. Finally, when I was checking out, Smiljana handed me a thoughtful gift, a bouquet of dried flowers and herbs. Oh.
This is the smell of my island, and here is sweet of my island.
Oh, that was amazing. She gave me the smells of her island and treats from her island. I'm bringing these pastries back to my Airbnb so I can eat them in peace without a seagull trying to steal my food. Everyone in Korcula is talking about them. Let's find out what all the fuss is about. Opening these up, I feel like a kid on Christmas. I have 5 treats to try, and I'm excited about each one. Let's get a better look at the harubika. This one is called the Marco Polo bomb because it's shaped like a cannonball that was shot during the Battle of Korcula in 1298, in which Marco Polo was captured and sent to prison where he would dictate his memoirs. This one is full of cream, crunchy walnuts, and covered in chocolate. Let's get a better look at the klasoon. Did I mention that these cookies are glazed in a rose liqueur and then sprinkled with a vanilla sugar? I'm so glad that I'm the person who actually gets to eat these cookies and not the hungry person with the munchies watching this on YouTube late at night. That would be torture. All right, let's stop looking at these through the camera and let's try eating these treats for real. When I first saw this shape, I asked her, is that supposed to be like a crab or something? And she says, no, it has no significance at all. Ooh, I'm really excited about this almond one. Just the right amount of sweet, not overpowering, chewy, dense, fantastic. Walnut filling with a little bit of chocolate and then a shortbread exterior. She really hit the mark with this one. This just calls for a cappuccino. All of those pastries I just ate were so sweet. I think the sweetest thing that you'll find at Sukurin is the personality of the owner, Smiljana. Going in the morning, that's when she's usually there. She'd love to talk to you and tell you a little bit more about her island and why these cookies are so special to Korcula. I had such a wonderful time here. Perhaps one day soon, you'll visit Korcula Island and you'll follow my best list of things to do and local foods to eat while you're here.